I had the baby, I carried the baby, so the rest is on you. I don't honestly care what you do. Like, I trusted that. I study entrepreneurs, I study coaches. They have lost way more games than they've won, but the mindset is I'm gonna keep getting back up and trying again. So as long as we're there to dust them off and to say, all right, you good? Shake their shoulders, dust them off, wipe their faces, and then throw them back in the game. Because that's our job. Get back out there. You got this. We
Yes.
need another vacation. You got this. We're building a house. Like, I don't stop. Now he feels unstoppable because I think for a few years in the beginning, they may very well lack confidence. And that's why I'm saying that is because
Yeah.
you have to continue to just lift them up and believe in them probably before they even believe in themselves, before they so-called make it. And my husband said, I've come to realize that I am the dreamer, but I give it to my wife and she's the incubator. And she takes it and she grows it. I have really learned to align my priorities in a way that self-care is daily now. I don't have to wait till the end of the week.
I have to be tired to take a nap. Your
Girl,
point,
I'm gonna take
though,
a nap on you right now.
please don't.
It might be enjoyable. I think I talk in my sleep.
Hey, friend, are you loving an entrepreneur and sometimes wondering why is no one talking about how difficult it can be? Well, you're not alone. I'm Janelle, your friend, your sister. Here are real talks with an entrepreneur's wife, where women are sharing the honest side of loving a visionary. Now, some of you may have asked the question, what if this doesn't work? There's a baby coming or a baby here, the mortgage is due, and the business is not producing yet. Well, today I have a lovely guest. My guest today, Ms. Ruth DeBonnett-Southall. She was at that very moment where she was having this experience of entering into that life of being the wife of an entrepreneur while having a baby at the same time. But one of the things that she said to her husband was, I'm carrying the baby, but you're carrying the household. So, without further ado, we're going to get into this story, but actually, one more thing I do want to just kind of bring up real quick. If you have not subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, click that like button, and then share it with somebody you know. Introduced to the conversation today, my beautiful, lovely guest, Mrs. Ruth DeBonnett-Southall. Miss Ruth, how you doing today?
I am absolutely amazing, Janelle, and I'm honored to be here. I definitely am so excited to have this conversation with you because I think it's so important. I love your podcast. I love the purpose of your podcast. And thank you so much for not just the invitation, but honestly, thank you for making this platform available to us entrepreneur wives and those
Wow.
who are on the journey with you. I can totally relate, of course. I may have some insight that others do not have, but I'm going to be honest with you. I have the memory of Dory. I have a very short-term memory.
Well, we're going to talk about some stuff today, so we're going to get to it.
Yes,
That's
I will
okay.
need to phone a friend sometimes.
Well, listen, it's such a pleasure to have you on today. And, you mentioned about that moment. So tell us, what was it like? What was going through your mind and through your heart when you had this baby and now your husband is saying he wants to start an entrepreneurship business?
Well, I think it is important to talk about this, and I have a lot, honestly, because it's been over 20 years and our family business is extremely successful. Did I know that was going to happen then? No. Is he even doing now what he started off doing? No. And I was a new mom, and I think being a new mom, I was just in the vein of, just like I said, I had the baby, I carried the baby, so the rest is on you. I don't honestly care what you do. Like, I trusted that. We had only been married. Now, let me please say this. It's not as though we had been married a long time or he had talked about being an entrepreneur. And that had never been part of our conversation.
Wow.
Going into marriage, it was never. My husband studied architecture. He had graduated and was working for an architecture firm in downtown Chicago. So he saw himself moving into the design, lead design era. And eventually, maybe he didn't even talk about starting his own architecture firm. That's what's so
Wow.
amazing about this journey is he was an entrepreneurial minded, however, was. I have been in my family. I knew that I wouldn't necessarily retire from a job. Like I use that term loosely now when people ask, "You are you still teaching?" I'm like, "No, I'm retired for the third time." And they're like, "Ma'am, you do not look like you should be retired." Retired is a state of mind. Like I don't know why you all think that's an age like associated with
Yes.
they ask me, "Are you in your 60s?" Most definitely not. But I've always had jobs as experiences, so that's how I saw work. Like, so when
Mm.
you said, "I'm going to go ahead and take a stab at working for myself," and at that time, Janelle, my husband was designing logos. He was designing logos for small businesses because people would ask him because of his art background, "Hey, can you draw a logo for me?" He was drawing caricatures and therefore making people's logos based on their face, and it was a character,
Wow.
and they loved it. And then
Yeah.
he eventually moved into printing. But one day, I don't even know what happened. I can't even explain. I see again, would need to phone a friend. I don't know how that branched into website design. Now, it makes sense. It is a logical course, but
Mm.
I don't remember when it happened. Just one night, he was like, "I'm designing websites." I was like, "Yeah, okay, hold the baby. I'll be back." Like, I didn't even know what websites were. My husband was designing websites and selling websites before it was a thing. Before it was a course in college, he had already taken himself through the courses. And yeah, now
Wow.
he's like a premier creative arts designer in that field. Sought after all over everything. For me,
With that,
I've been in it for the
so
ride, but he will tell people. No, I was just saying he will people that because I wasn't, "What are you doing? Why would you do that?" I was pretty much, "Whatever you do is cool. I got you." Like, "You need some editing here and there." That's what I've
so what
been,
made you
just
so
to meet.
comfortable?
He's always held everything down. I had no reason to doubt. And as I tell him, as much as I love and appreciate him, I always tell him, ultimately, you're not my source anyway. So because I trust our Father God, I know that He's actually going to use you in the way that He needs to provide for me and you. But because of he knows my level of expectation. God meets us at our level of expectation. So every time, and this was again after we had signed a mortgage, like you said, we have a whole mortgage and a
Yeah.
baby. And
Yeah.
I'm just make it happen. I was a teacher at the time, like I said, and I'm a teacher in a private Christian school. So my check barely got us food. So that wasn't even a factor. Yeah, so and I must add, Janelle, 2 years after my daughter was born, and he is
Yeah.
still solely providing because I was not even probably contributing with my teacher salary. He was solely taking care of everything in the house, and 2 years after I had my daughter, I was pregnant with our son, and the day I found out I was pregnant, girl, I came home and I said, "Yeah, I can't work anymore." He was like and his response was, "I understand, like, get it." I said, "There's no way I'm getting ready to get up and get 2 children together and get up,
Wow.
then go teach." Like, I have so much respect for women who do that. That was never, ever no. So that's when I started a homeschool, but that's a whole 'nother story, girl.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. So I do want to ask because you went into, it sounds like, an expectation that not unspoken expectation, but you spoke it. This is the expectation of you as my husband. Whatever you decide to do, this is what's expected of you. So, did that come from how you were raised, and he fell into the position because of how he was raised, like your dad took care of the household and things like that? What would you say?
That is amazing that you even brought that up because it didn't necessarily come from how I was raised per se. Because actually, when my parents had 6 children, 3 girls and 3 boys, and I am the fifth, and we are referred to as the 3 big ones and 3 little ones. So when my younger sister and I, shout out to her because today is actually her 50th birthday, but when my parents were raising my sister and myself, who's the younger. My father had gotten hurt at work, working for CTA, so he was off work and he was a stay-at-home dad. Like before that was a thing, he was
Wow.
our everything, our caregiver, like driver, all those things. So my sister and I are extremely spoiled, literally because of that to this day. And so I always saw my mom working outside the home. And she was just like myself, wherever she saw a need or a problem to solve, like people refer to me and try to refer to me as Olivia Pope. Like if there's an issue, just call Ruth. She gonna solve it.
Oh,
It's no all. That is extremely stressful and frustrating.
stressful. Yeah, that's right.
I
That's
have
right.
let go of that title, but my mom was that to me. But, in addition to seeing my mom being a responder, then in my teenage years, I actually joined a church where I saw so many entrepreneurial, people, like men and women. And
Hmm.
I adopted all of them. They adopted me as their goddaughter. One is an electrician, one was a restaurant owner and cook and all these things. So I've always seen, you know what, whatever it is that you love to do and you desire, you could create a career out of that. So when my husband said that, I was just like, okay, that's pretty much how things should go. That's how it should be. Like it's unbelievable the life that we have now, especially since we never imagined that early on. That's not what we talked about, but
Yeah.
it has been a natural progression. I must say that for real.
Wow. So that's pretty amazing. So with him being in the entrepreneurship role and you carrying the babies, taking care of the babies, what did support look like for him coming from you as
Mhm.
the wife of an entrepreneur?
Well, I have to also say that one of the most important blessings of our business is that, first of all, shout out to TS Design Studio, period. That's my husband's
That's
business
right.
name. But early on in our business, he met an angel who introduced him to so many other people. And Elder Diana was just that. She blessed us with just networking and connecting him to so many other businesses, faith businesses, and churches that he still does business with today, over 20 years later. My
Wow.
husband did a campaign for Michelle's syrup, and she's still a client today. And that was over
Wow.
15 years ago. And now he does Valley Kingdom, Lighthouse, and
Wow.
Bill Winston Ministries, everything for them as well. So that all came from one woman.
Connection.
Yeah, and one connection. And when I tell you, but see, the reason I brought that up and you asked how is it that I support that? Well, he came from a male-dominated field, basically every field was male-dominated, and architecture
Mhm.
was nothing different, but coming into the design area and field, they just liked him because he's just a handsome young man, and they just like to keep him around, but then when you ask him to design things and they would use terms and things he wasn't familiar, he had to come home and say, "Ruth, this is what they want." And I'm like, "Oh, that's easy." Da da da. And I can give him the ideas to sketch, and then he's like, "Oh my God, they loved it.
Okay.
You hit that out of the park." So I tell him all the time, do not make me your competitor because I may not be able to draw, but I can put you out of business because when people
Creativity
yeah, yeah,
matters.
that's true, and so we do mesh in that area. As a matter of fact, we created a son and a daughter who are definitely, just a perfect blend of the 2 of us. My daughter was first, Mackenzie, she's 22, and my son is Jacob, and he's 20, and honey, they are like us 4.0. They can do anything and create anything, as a matter of fact. They have videos out there where they have redone Michael Jackson and Janet Jackson videos and everything from just my daughter, like, hey, let's redo this. And my son's like, all right, let's do it. Let's get the outfits. I'm like, who does this? They do.
Wow. So what did your day-to-day look like as, the wife and the mother of, taking care of the kids at home while he was doing the entrepreneur stuff?
That's such a great question because also as the muse of the business and basically, the creativity of saying, yeah, yeah, you got this. Like your creative mind is amazing. And when he needs me, he, dip in and out. He was downstairs in our home for a very long time, and like I
Mm,
said, I was upstairs. I had started a day school, so I was teaching our children and nieces and nephews and other family friends,
mhm.
everything like that. So it was our house was multiple businesses going on. So, of course, do you know I'm gonna say this, and I'm just gonna tell the truth. My husband has had connections and clients that they have amazing galas, however you wanna pronounce it, every year, and he never attended, with support and pay. Like,
Wow.
here's the money, no need to go because he's not the extrovert that I am, and one
Mhm.
day, something was going on, like, it was somebody headlining at one of these galas, and I'm like, "Hey, we should see if we should be able to go." He said, "There's no reason I shouldn't, I designed the stuff." I said, "You've got to be kidding me." Holding all the way out. Holding all the way out because you didn't wanna put on a suit? Are you kidding me? Needless to say, we make all these affairs now, but back to your original question, that's just it. Like, I'm the communicator and he does not. If I don't ask, he does not tell. It's like he will
Mm.
stay in the office and at the computer. The only reason he takes off any day is because I said Sunday is family day. We're going to church, brunch, and we're spending the day together. And he's just like, okay. I'm like, no work. So to this day, he does not work on Sunday. So I established things like that, but I have to and I had to because he loves what he does. It's
Yeah.
not begrudging to him at all. He will keep
Yeah.
and keep it because it's always something to do. But I'm like, no, you need to rest. You need time for yourself. So that's pretty much I didn't set that up in the beginning, of course. That's something that you learn as you go. And as a woman, because
Yeah.
we see and understand things that all of us need as a whole. Because I'm gonna tell you, it became family day, but guess what? Sunday used to be Ruth's day when they were small because
Okay.
not gonna work all week, and I have them all week, and they don't even know their father. So Sunday, we'll go to we'll go to church and brunch, and then I would leave. I'm like, "Get to know your children, goodbye." So when they got older, then I came back into the picture after, but then I did have a moment where I would go and spend time away to work on my own business, do a couple of hours at a coffee shop somewhere, but
Mhm.
yeah, we had to, and I don't like to refer to it as balance, so I'm not gonna even say a work-life balance because
Yeah.
balancing, even the word to me sounds a little difficult and it doesn't sound fun. So I like to say we're creating harmonious living. It was living in harmony. So, yeah, and it's still going, baby. It's still because I
Yeah.
brought up working in the lower level of our home first for a reason, because I pretty much had to like kick him out of there. He knew he needed to move out and expand, but my husband
Mhm.
likes to only have bills that he can manage. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, find something that you can afford and yeah, figure out how many more clients you need, make it happen. Like, let's go. Let's go.
So are you a driver, Ms. Ruth?
That's a nice word to
So
that's
this is
a nice
funny.
way to
This
put
What'd you say?
that's a nice way to put it, a driver. I like that better than controlling.
Yes, I'm a driver.
Are you?
I am a driver.
Love it.
Feels so funny. So there is this thing, and I don't know how true it is, but have you ever heard that women that their second toe is longer than their big toe of drive?
I'm great chick.
Me. That's me. And so,
My
I
God.
actually looked it up and I did see some stuff talking about that. So when you get out, check.
I promise you. Well, I know my second toe is not longer than my big toe because I have very narrow feet and they are literally, it's like this. My feet and toes are just like this. They go just like that. They're narrow. They just go on a slant. But honey, I'm
Yeah.
gonna check some other attributes and characteristics of drivers because I'm sure I'm there right there.
You know what? I don't know if I'm naturally a driver or if it's by default.
Understand.
Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's natural or by default.
hmm
But nevertheless, so in getting Ruth Day, what was it that made you like what was going on in your life that made you say, this is what I need? Because this is all part of self care. So what
My
was going on?
goodness, yes. Then, like I said, I homeschooled. I didn't just homeschool our children and other family members' children. I started literally with a class of 6 children, like off the bat. When my daughter was born, so
Mhm.
were 3 other nieces and nephews, and then other families and friends. No, 4. I said 3, 4. It was an instant classroom, so how could I not? Our dining room, I got a kidney reading table, the whole everything. Designed the
Yeah.
logo, the name, all of those things, and I made breakfast, lunch, and was their teacher. Honey, how could I
Mhm.
not take some time off? There was
Yeah.
wasn't gonna drive myself crazy. I've
That's
always
right.
on my capacity. Still to this day, even though it appears to a lot of people well, I would say it appears to a lot of people that I'm super busy all the time because, Ruth, I'm so sorry to interrupt you and bother you and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm not as busy as I used to be. I'm glad you all think so. But I have really learned to align my priorities in a way that self care is daily now. I don't have to wait till the end of the week. I will take a break in the day. I will breathe. I will take a nap.
So, we've made it to this point in the episode, and you're still here with us. I truly believe that something was said in this conversation that spoke to you. And because of that, I encourage you to take a few moments to journal about what resonated in your mind and in your heart. Journaling can be such a powerful form of self care and clarity, and I would love to help you with that. Simply send me an email to realtalkswithjanelle@gmail.com and I'll send a journal prompt directly to your inbox. Now, let's get back to the conversation.
All those who know me and love me, they like, "That girl will" like, I just woke up from a nap a little while ago. Like, was I sleepy? I was not. But my mom said, "You're sleepy?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm going to rest." There's a difference. Like, I need to rest and just be still and be okay with that. So now, honey, I will do a overnight. And my husband said, "It must be nice." Yeah, I will check into a hotel and just pick one out and go spend the night somewhere just to be because I don't know about you, but as a woman and with hand in so many other things besides our businesses and family things. And yes, I could very well mind my own business because I get told that too. If you would just mind your own business and not care about so many people, they don't say it like that, but that's how I hear it.
Yeah.
But that's who I am, and I want to love and embrace who I am. It's who God made me to be, but with boundaries. So now I've learned to do it with
Yeah.
boundaries, so I can continue to enjoy my life. Nobody's, like, responsible for it but me, nobody. My dad told all of us and taught us, "No one's responsible for your happiness, only you."
That's so true. Yeah, absolutely. So I like that. Just take I have to be tired to take a nap. But to your
Girl, I
point
would take a
though,
nap on you right now.
though,
It might be enjoyable. I think I talk in my sleep.
but you know what? It doesn't have to be a nap though. I mean,
Right,
as you
it does.
state, sometimes you just need to rest
Yes.
and not feel shame about it. So the first time you told your husband that you just need your time, was he receptive to that? Because, a lot of times, a lot of men, you have these roles. So for the woman that's out there feeling like this, I can't do this, what is a good way for her to go into that?
Let me tell you, when I find out that a friend or a loved one is with child or having a baby, and
Mhm.
people have all these words of wisdom, I'm going to tell you the two I give women, especially when they're having, especially a girl. Same thing goes for a boy, but especially when they're having a girl. Because men tend to dote on their daughters and find no fault in them. Oh my God, you've given birth to my princess and she could do no wrong and all that. I told him after reading one of the baby books, there's no way you're ever going to this house and speak to her first, pick her up first. Like she is not your first priority. She's going to grow up and fall in love and leave you and not think about
Mhm.
you until she needs some again, because that's what little girls do. And you don't want to be left with me looking at you like you crazy. And then the other thing is that allow husbands to bond with their children, because my mom taught all of us very early
Right.
that the glory of children are their fathers. So if their fathers aren't in their lives and a part of their lives, you
Yeah.
aren't allowing their glory to be present. Oh, I said that's not a problem. Because remember, like I said, my dad was pretty much taking care of me and my sister. And so
Mhm.
that's all I knew. And yeah, it came a time that I don't know if this man is going to change them or feed them, but somebody told me he's not gonna hurt them. He's their father, and if he needs help, he knows who to call, but it won't be me. So when it comes to what did he say when I said I'm leaving, I don't recall waiting for a response. I was like, "I'm gone," and I hit the door. It was like, "What?" And then when I came back and realized they were okay, I said, "This is going to be now a normal. This is a norm. We have a new norm. Ruth is gonna leave every Sunday." So now he's able to prepare and now he's able to say, "Oh, I'll take them here and I'll do this with them," because that's the type of life I had. On Saturdays, it was daddy day. My
Yeah.
sister and I would get in the car and my brother when he felt like it. But it was movies. We'd go visit family members, all those things. We'd go out to eat. Yeah, so I just set him up, but do you know what they do now, Janelle? And I
What?
felt some kinda way about it, but I travel a lot for my
Mm.
different businesses. I get to go to places. And girl, every time I'm gone, now it's a ritual. They will go out to eat and send me a picture. "We're out without you." It's like, "Are you all kidding me?" Yeah, they love it too. And they go
That's good. That's good. That is definitely something that my husband does with our kids, going out on individual dates with them. And so
Yes.
I do believe that bonding time is so important. So for the women that are listening, don't feel like you have to carry it all by yourself. That man is very important in the lives of the kids. And you kind of put him in the position, he'll realize
Yes.
too how important and how much he enjoys it.
Most definitely.
How much he
Yes.
enjoys it. So you mentioned with the creativity and him coming to you sometimes, and you're an entrepreneur, he's an entrepreneur.
Mhm.
How do you, we're not going to use the word balance, but for lack of a better term,
Uh-huh.
how do you do both in all the things side by side and still support him and not feel competition?
It's not necessarily, difficult for me. It's actually more difficult, I'll honestly say, for him to handle because he feels when I jump in on a new venture because see, I know me, and even though he knows me, and it might be the me that, "Huh, I wish she could just focus," because that's what he says all the time, that I lack focus, but and knowing myself, know that I love new. I love to create new. If somebody says, Janelle, I don't even want you to say, Ruth, I know a brand new thing. I'll be like, girl, tell me about
No.
I do, Janelle, I just do. I love new ventures. I love just the possibility of creating something from the ground. And he doesn't. He doesn't like he's like, "Why don't you stick with just one thing?" And I'm multifaceted in the way that let me tell you, when the pandemic began,
Yes.
literally when it was on the news, I stood in my kitchen and I said, "God, how would you have me to respond to this? I'm not about to act like the world. You already know." He said, "Don't let fear in your house." I was like, "That's not difficult. No problem. What else?" He said, "What do you want, Ruth?" And I was like, "Oh, we get to ask questions. I get to ask for something." And I was like, "What do you mean? What do I want?" He was like, "What do you want from this? Like from this experience, from your obedience? What do you want?" And I said, "I want 5 streams of income." Who says that they just want to build and create 5 streams of income? I do. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I said it, but if you look at my website, it is all about me being a voice actor, having the podcast. Now it's turning into a teacher coaching business. I have so many things in the works. And my husband is like, now he's over there. You could do all this, huh? But what about TS Design Studio, which I have said, how do you want to utilize me? What do you want me to do? When we sit down and
Mm.
have the conversation, we have the conversation and then he goes back to work. I'm like, I'm not going to beg to actually support you. So I'm not kidding. I wrote up a new proposal just last week. Like, honey,
Mm.
this is what I see that you need, and this is how I could fill this role because that's
Okay.
where I am. And I literally said, okay, where, Ruth, in your pocket of time will you be able to do that? Because I teach job readiness skills to adults. I'm writing curriculums for that. So
Wow.
everything I do, it sounds like wow, but believe you me, I don't think I
It's
do
a
it.
lot.
Like, I still feel like I don't do enough. I still get a lot of rest. I do. I lie down a lot, and that's how I know that I can help him. Yeah. So I support when I can and how I can and when and how he allows me to, because for the most part, I know that there are things that he needs and that I can jump in and definitely address, but at the
Mhm.
I don't want to make him do anything that he's not ready for me to do. I'll put it like that. So, yeah, the proposal is yet just waiting for the
Yeah.
conversation.
So no competition, but you are available whenever.
Oh, well, honey, there's not gonna be a competition because I'm extremely blessed and will tell anyone that my husband has always been a provider and not I don't say a provider where he contributes and I contribute. No, because he knows that my biggest contribution is raising and caring for the children and managing our household. Like he doesn't have to concern himself with anything in the house, vacations, whatever. I'm just like, "Hey, okay, this is the budget for this. Can you make this happen? When can we make this happen?" Like, that's what we do. So, yeah, we work together on everything, including his business, because it has recently moved to expand, and we're excited about that. That now we have, yes, access to have all types of collaborative meetings and networking events and everything like that. So I'm super, super excited. That'll be something else that I do, as a matter of fact, in-house trainings and coaching and everything.
Yes. So you guys know what your roles are, so to speak.
Pretty much, that most that
So with that being said, for someone that doesn't have that aligned so much, what does that look like as far as those conversations and setting that as the standard? Do you guys have like monthly, weekly meetings, anything like that?
we have attempted that. It's not as regular as I would like. I have a whole family calendar that but I mostly started establishing that with the podcast because the podcast is my baby and my vision. So it was like, hey, if you all want to be a part of this, which you are, my husband is producing and my son is the videographer and editor and my daughter is the writer and all things creative behind the scenes to do the social media content and everything. Literally, I'm just a talent. So when I talk to other podcasters and they say everything they have to do, I'm like, whew, all I have to do is pick out my outfit and book the guests. Like most of the time, it's people who I'm interested in having a conversation with, and that's it. And it flows naturally. But everything has been developed as needed. There was nothing written that, hey, when we do this, you're going to do this.
Yeah,
This will be my role, and this is my part. No, everything develops from out of the need. And I
yeah,
mostly will see the need and then I sit back and I say, okay, this is what I'm noticing. So I think we should try this route. And everything is a try. It's okay. We are all good with learning to learn from failures, like failing
yeah,
is my thing. I am not afraid to try anything. I'm not afraid to definitely even make a fool of myself. It's like, what's so bad about learning from it and then laughing at myself? It's okay. It's totally okay, which is probably why my children are who they are and do the things they do. I told them from day one. Remember, I'm their first teacher. I said, if you choose not to go to a traditional school or institution of higher learning, also known as college and university, that's totally fine with us. But you need to know what it is you want to do and explore that to its fullest. My son did that and has been doing that since before high school. His first day of high school was COVID. He was sitting on his bed and the teacher said, so what would you all like to do when you all get out of high school? My son hit unmute and said, why would I have to wait till I get out of high school to start doing what I want to do for the rest of my life? He said, I'm doing it now. And that was a 14-year-old. And I said, okay. Now my daughter, she's an explorer like me. So she loves to dibble and dabble in different things and enjoy the journey. Have at it. But at the same time, they're both still working the family business. Both still adding value to our family business as they do it. So we couldn't be more proud or happier with
yeah.
how everything is turning out.
Yeah, one thing I wanted to say is how you brought that conversation to your husband. You led from a position of this is what I see and this is what I think we should do or whatever, as opposed to just going in with the you need to do this, we need to do that. You started led with the facts. And I think communication is so important when it comes to being in a relationship, not just with an entrepreneur, but with anybody that you love and you're
Hmm.
trying to get somewhere,
Yeah,
somewhere positive. I'm glad you mentioned your children because you've been an entrepreneur yourself for a long time.
hmm.
Although you've taught the kids from home and things of that nature, but you've been an entrepreneur for a long time and you're doing a lot of things, and so is your husband. I saw the podcast of you where you interviewed your daughter, and I absolutely loved it. And I'm going to link it in the comment section, so y'all definitely go and watch it. That conversation was so unscripted.
It was so unscripted. It was so wrong. You could see the look on my face. I was like, huh, we just gonna do this right here. Like cameras rolling. And that's how my children are. I've yet to interview my son because he's more raw than my daughter.
Yeah. So, she said a couple of things that you weren't really expecting. You didn't know. I'll say that. You didn't know.
That's the
And
truth.
so now looking back, which they are amazing kids, but if there was something that you could go back and tell Ruth in the earlier years as the wife of an entrepreneur, but also as an entrepreneur herself that are raising kids, what would you say to her
That's really,
now?
really great. And I love that question, Janelle, but I'm going to preface my answer with I do not have any regrets. And I told my children that, like, although you feel you suffered some type of loss or whatever it may be, I apologize for it, but I don't live in regrets because I did the best that I could with what I had and knowing what I knew at that time. And I was going which is what my husband says about it. You go hard when you don't have to. But he says that I don't have to based on his perspective. But to me, I'm trying to not prove anything to anyone else, but to myself. So when I set a goal, then I get locked in and like nothing else matters. So what I would say to my yesteryear Ruth, the Ruth of raising small children, is to just take a moment and, just stop and pause and ask them, are they okay? And do they
Mm,
understand what I'm doing? Because a lot of times they probably didn't. They just saw me leaving. And, what I'm saying to myself is, I'm doing this for you. But if I'm not verbalizing it and they don't see it as how am I benefiting from this, then they may be feeling abandoned. And like my daughter said, emotionally being abandoned. And I'm just like, what? Me? I'm very emotional, but that's outward. That's not checking in with
right.
children and their emotions. Those are two totally different things. So
Yeah.
that conversation, although it was for the podcast and, it was not planned. I did not plan any of the questions with her. As a matter of fact, I don't
Mhm.
do that with anybody mostly. If people are always like, "What are you gonna ask me?" I'm like, "I don't know. We're gonna have a conversation." So, I did that with her, but I was so glad that it happened because it has changed our relationship.
I
Did
love that.
session based on it. We are way more connected and we definitely respect where we are now and not holding any grudges about the past. We talk about it and now, we laugh at some of the things that she says that I missed, like you didn't pay attention to. And I'm just like, for real? I get it, but I only have one daughter. A lot of times, like my sisters, both sisters have 3 girls and a boy. So with all of them, they always talk about how they like, "Oh, well, at least I get another one to practice on." I have one daughter.
Yeah. Yeah. In that podcast, you talk about her kind of being a fly on the wall. And it's so important that the audience realizes that your children may not be saying anything. They may appear to be consumed in whatever they're doing. I've got one like that. Well, probably two of them. Two of mine are like that. But definitely my middle child, I can tell he's paying attention. Like, yeah. But to your point, even though the name of this podcast is Real Talks with an Entrepreneur's Wife and the tagline is What You Wish You Knew Sooner, we can't plan for everything. And
That's the truth.
it's not for us to go back and regret anything, but we should learn from it.
That's right.
We should learn from it. So I am glad that you and your daughter had that conversation because if you had not interviewed her at that time, who knows when it would have come up.
Mhm.
So yeah, but that was a great episode. My husband and I, we've got 3 children, and definitely have gotten in the habit of doing those check-ins. We have this Carolina room where we have a couple of rocking recliners, and so sometimes I'll just go in mine and I'll say, "Come on, let's have a seat, let's talk." And so I think it's important. We can't just look at them always and know what's going on inside. So we have to create that space
Love
for
that.
them to talk about it. And
I love
Ruth, another thing you mentioned is about you when you get a thing that you're focused on, you really hone in on that. And it makes me think about me in this podcast. When I say I'm going to do a thing, I put so much focus into it.
Mhm,
So I consider myself an entrepreneur as well. My
mhm,
husband's the entrepreneur, but he and we tackle our entrepreneurship in different ways.
mhm.
And I know for me, again, when I'm focused on a thing, I really get in there and I do the work. And sometimes it can be possibly to my detriment because I can somewhat be a perfectionist, somewhat. But
Understand.
it's not necessarily about proving to somebody else. It's fulfillment for yourself. And like you said earlier, your dad said, you can't nobody can make you happy. You have to make yourself happy. And so when looking at entrepreneurship, a lot of that drive, yes, we're trying to do things for the betterment of our family, but there is an inner joy that we're getting from what we're doing, whatever we're trying to accomplish. And I guess
Agree.
that's with anybody, if you're trying to get somewhere. So, yeah, I love that.
I love that too. You're so right. And I want to add what you were saying about our children being flies on the wall. There's so much more that is caught than that is taught. So a lot of times they're not necessarily going to receive or remember what we said. I'm sure my dad and mom said a lot of things, and
A
there are
lot.
few. There are a few that I remember, but I definitely learned more by their actions than their words. So we have to be very mindful of that, and I'm very apologetic. I have no problems apologizing. I'm unapologetic for who I am and walking in my authenticity, but I am definitely apologetic when you feel that you've been wronged. I can't tell you how you feel. If you say what I said or did made you feel a certain way, I respect that and I
Mhm.
apologize, and I tell people it happens often, but I tell them, "Hey, call me out on it when you see it happening because that's not my intention." I can be a little, quick with it with my tongue, and it may come off sounding judgy or something like that.
Mm.
I don't know. I've been told that, and I'm like, "That was not my intent." I hear things totally different as well. My husband will say something, and I hear it totally like something crazily different, and those are not even the words that he used. So, yeah, it's the interpretation of it all, but like you said, communication is absolutely key. It's the most
Yeah.
important for all of us
Yeah.
to do better, and one of the things I wanna add is that when it comes to our businesses, no matter what businesses there are, the whole purpose of it is for all of us to win. It's for all of
Yeah.
us to thrive and everybody to be valued, and yeah, I love that.
So the way that you guys include your kids, I think that's amazing as well. My husband, he does the same. And so for anyone that's listening, find the jewels, find the skills, find the gifts in your children and find a way to include them in that business.
And pay them because you could, definitely put them on your income tax. It's also very important. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. That's so important.
My husband has paid them from day 1, from day 1. Anything and do you know what my husband did? Even when my son wasn't doing anything for his business, he paid my son to create videos. My son was making movies and videos just out of the joy of doing it because he was learning. But because he was learning applications and using different software, my husband paid him for everything that he made and produced and put out. And so my son always saw value in what he created. So it was nothing for him. When COVID came, my
Yeah.
son got paid. He made so much money. People were sending him pictures. People were having him come and video their drive-by parties, baby showers, all out in the cold. He was getting paid and developing his skills and honing his skills.
Yes. I don't know if you heard what CJ said.
Sure.
CJ with the podcast. One of the things that he said and it stuck with me is that teach your kids to be producers, not consumers.
That's right. He says it all the time.
Yes. And so that is so important cuz there's so many opportunities out here for them to do just that and enjoy doing it. So,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely be producers, not just consumers.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ruth, is there any encouragement that you would provide to a woman that's listening right now, dating or married to an entrepreneur, to help her to ease some of the challenges that she might be experiencing while being that support person?
I can say that one of the most important things that you can do as support and a helpmeet to an entrepreneur is to number one, continue to give them what they need, whatever it is that they say they need as far as inspiring them or uplifting them, edifying them. It's okay. Like, just go ahead and tell them they got this, they can do it, there's nobody better. Also, I am huge on mentorship. Like, I have always had mentors and people to reach up to and to say,
Mm.
"Ooh, they've been there and done that." And it took my husband a while to find people in his and I would say it took him a while because like I said, he was always working, so he wasn't necessarily looking for, but if you pray about something, just let the Lord work, let that work itself out because he has
Yeah.
now found mentors that he watched. These are not people that he knows personally, but he's watched and learned from them so much in that area that now he feels unstoppable because I think for a few years in the beginning, they may very well lack confidence. And that's why I'm saying that is because
Yeah.
you have to continue to just lift them up and believe in them probably before they even believe in themselves, before they
Mm.
so-called make it. We have to
Yeah.
see them as they've already made it. We have to see them as the accomplished, successful entrepreneur that we know they can be. Because guess what? It's going to take a lot of hard knocks. It's going to take more failures before they actually make it. I study entrepreneurs, I study coaches. They have lost way more games than they've won, but the mindset is I'm going to keep getting back up and trying again. So as long as we're there to dust them off and to say, all right, you good? Shake their shoulders, dust them off, wipe their faces, and then throw them back in the game. Because that's our job. Get back out there. You got this. We need
Yes.
another vacation. You got this. We're building a house. Like I don't stop. As a matter of fact, after we moved into our most recent home, my husband, he tends to say things that I don't know until somebody asks him a question, because that's just what he does. And
Yeah.
when we were having our home blessed by our friends, they asked, "Man, like, how do you feel about how far you all have come in your marriage and the things you've done?" He said two things about my wife that I've learned when we bought our first home. We got the key to the house and went to our townhome and stepped in, and he looked at me and was like, "So what do you think?" And I looked at him and I said, "If God did this, I can't wait to see what he does next." That's how I think. It's not like I do not live. I appreciate the moment. I do. But I'm like, wow, what's next? So 20 years later, we moved into another home and sure enough, our friends were like, "So what has this journey been like?" And my husband said, "I've come to realize that I am the dreamer, but I give it to my wife and she's the incubator. And she
Mm.
takes it and she grows it." Like he said, "I would not have anything without her. Like nothing." He said, "I was happy in my studio apartment living on the north side of Chicago, just going to work and waiting for them to give me an assignment and feeling unappreciated, overlooked, and everything." And she looked at me and was like, "What else you got in you? Like, I need vision. I need you to know." Yeah. So we have to see greater in our mates and our spouses and in our entrepreneurs, whoever it is, because ultimately they're going to look to you. They're going to need just someone else to just feed that same desire and
Yeah.
longing for more and greater.
That's awesome. I like that. So you have this podcast, Becoming Serene.
Becoming,
Tell
yeah,
us Becoming Serene.
I keep
Tell
telling
us about that.
you, I'm not serene. Being serene is the goal, but I am becoming serene. But I love how you keep prophesying that it's being serene. Yep, one day.
Becoming Serene. So tell us about Becoming Serene.
So I knew that I had a desire to use my voice and to speak besides being in the classroom. One of the things that I find not challenging, but others find challenging for me is that I'm not in a classroom daily like I used to be. And I'm like, no, I just feel led to do something else with my voice. So I noticed how a lot of friends and family members were always watching YouTube and watching people's lives. And I said, I would interview them. I'm like, "So who are you watching? What do they talk about? How is that helping you? Like, what are you
Yeah.
learning from that?" And they're like,
Right.
"This is entertaining for me." But
Mhm.
you're not learning anything from it? I was like, and I'm the type that, hey, not if you can't beat them, join them. But if you are going to talk about that there's a problem, and I'm not saying that there's a problem with what you watch, it's a problem to me if I'm watching something and I'm not learning from it. So I was like, I'm sure some people out there that may think like me and just like yourself, there are wives of entrepreneurs who may want some unsolicited advice. So I did the same thing, and Becoming Serene initially, the first season has been me interviewing entrepreneurs and talking about their journey and how some of them like fell into entrepreneurship and fell in love with it. Some like literally have degrees and other callings that they still love and they did, but entrepreneurship just became part of that journey as well. Well, Janelle, as Becoming Serene would have it, I feel that it's evolving to everything that helps me to become serene. So it's not just
Mm,
my entrepreneurship journey, but it is my teaching. It is my family life and lifestyle and my travels and other business ventures that I have. So we're actually revamping that to bring all those things into the next season. So I'm really, really excited.
yes, yes. So typically you would interview women, but you've had two
Right.
men, two men
Girl,
on
so
your
I'm glad
podcast
you
now.
mentioned that. Yes, because I said, this show is for women. I am not bringing men on here. Lo and behold, see, I first of all thought I had learned to never say never because then it really like dawned on me. My husband's clientele is probably 90% women. How can I not have him on the show and hear his perspective of what he knows about
Right,
entrepreneurship and what
right.
he learned and can impart to our women audience? Not only that, girl, after I looked at the analytics, we have more male viewers than men. I mean, than women. I was like, okay. So then I had one of our other fellow podcast summit friends.
Yes,
Yes, my good friend came on. And yeah, so he's been gracing us with his presence. So yeah, my good friend Chef Harry is also a staple on the show too, because we riding this together.
yes.
And yeah, soon to be a fellow podcaster as well. So yes, ma'am. I
Awesome.
love all
That's
the
awesome.
connections.
Now, is there any other ventures or businesses that you want to share with the listeners? What's going on in Ruth's business world?
My goodness. Like I said, the next one that is coming soon is Profess with Purpose Teacher Coaching that I'm super excited about because of me being a teacher. Teaching isn't what I do, it's who I am. And because I absolutely love learning and I love imparting information as well, I
Mhm.
realize there's so many teachers who they're just, oh, teaching is like really dragging them down for a number of reasons. Like, I can't name just one. They probably can't either. And I tell them all the time, what else is in you? What other skills that are transferable from teaching or that you
That's
enjoy doing?
right.
I love watching teachers on TikTok. The teachers who have a comedy show, the teachers that talk about the letters that parents send them, the children that say the darndest things. These teachers are getting paid. And I'm not telling you to do what they're doing. I'm telling you to use what you have to do something different. Because when you have an outlet, I'm able to go to the classroom because I still do as a what I refer to as a guest teacher. I don't call myself a sub. That's I don't like get down with certain colloquialisms.
Term.
I no, no, I'm not a substitute. I am your guest today, and you're gonna treat me like a guest.
I
So
like that.
girl, I have to. It makes you think a different mindset. When the children see me, they're like, "Oh,
Right.
oh, okay." So,
Yep.
when I go into the classroom now, I'm able to bring joy, and I still did when I was on staff. And they're like, I don't know how you do it. You're always the same and so full of joy. Why are you not bogged down? Why are you not this, that, and the other? I'm like, I can't be for number one. I have to bring the energy to the classroom. These children need to know I'm here 150% for them. It's not about what I'm carrying, what's going on with me in my personal life, but I'm also able
Yeah.
do this because I have other things that I have that bring me joy that I do outside of
That's
here.
right.
You all leave here and was like, I can't do anything else. Well, you can't
Yep.
because you say you can't, number one. But if you found something else, then you could bring your energy and your joy back to learning if you ever had it anyway. So it's
You know,
mostly that.
yeah, that is so important, and I feel the same way, and I feel like that has allowed me to not be one of the nurses that have left the bedside from feeling burnt out because there are so many other things to me. There are other things that I am doing that I don't feel dependent on that.
That's right.
So I love what you're doing because yes, when people feel like that's all they have to give,
Mhm.
then they do get burnt out.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I like that. All right. So how can people find you?
My goodness, how can you find me? You know what? I was thinking myself on all of social media outlets, it's Becoming Serene Pod, I believe. And I my website, Making of Champs, because Champs is my umbrella company. Chosen Ambassadors Prepare for Success is what all my businesses are under. So making of champs.com is my website for all things Ruth Debonair Southall and Becoming Serene. Yes, ma'am.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Ruth, thank you so much for joining me today for this conversation.
It has
It
been
was such a
amazing.
pleasure.
You.
For all those that are listening, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel, click the like button, and share it with another woman that needs to hear this conversation and understand that she's not alone. Also, I'm going to put Ruth's YouTube channel in the description. So be sure and check out her YouTube as well. She's got some amazing guests that are having some great conversations. So I know that's going to bless you as well. And until the next time, bye.
Thank you, Janelle. Thank you, beautiful. Bye, everyone.